welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to talk about a simple idea that completely flipped the entire investment world on its head. And this wasn't some complex Wall Street scheme. No, it was a revolution born from just a powerful dose of common sense. So let's start with a question that, really, it gets right to the heart of the story. We're all taught to be afraid of those big, dramatic market crashes, right? But what if the real enemy, the thing that's quietly hurting your long-term wealth, isn't the crash, but the constant drip, drip, drip of fees?
You know, every revolution, it starts with a problem. And for decades, the average investor, someone just like you, was facing this huge but often invisible dilemma that was costing them an absolute fortune.
For years and years, the investing world basically ran on one big assumption. You paid a professional a pretty hefty fee for their brilliant expertise. The problem? Well, as you can see right here, those fees acted like a constant drag on your money, just quietly eating away at your returns, year after year after year. So you've got this landscape that was just screaming for a new way forward. A world that was totally convinced that higher cost meant higher expertise. It was definitely time to meet the man who was about to challenge that whole idea. And that innovator was John C. Bogle. See, when he founded the Vanguard Group, he wasn't just starting another company. He was kicking off a movement. Bogle's entire journey, it was defined by this one powerful idea, an idea he first started exploring way back in his college thesis in 1951, that costs are the #1 enemy of long-term returns. Then, after a major career setback in 1974, he actually got fired. He got the chance to put that theory into practice, founding Vanguard and launching his game-changing product just a year later. Now, you'd think a brilliant, simple idea would be celebrated, right? Oh, not a chance. Wall Street openly mocked it. They literally called it Bogle's folly. They even called it un-American because it suggested you shouldn't try to beat the market, but just go along with it. But here's the thing. What was once called a folly is now praised by investment legends like Warren Buffett. I mean, this quote just shows you how powerful that simple idea really was. The very concept that Wall Street laughed at became the bedrock of modern investing for millions of people. So, what exactly was this revolutionary invention? The index fund. And the concept is so beautifully simple. Instead of paying some manager a ton of money to pick stocks they think will win, you just buy a fund that holds all the stocks in a major index, like the S&P 500. The goal isn't to be a genius, it's just to capture the market's return minus a tiny, tiny fee. Okay, so Bogle's philosophy lives on today through two main tools that are available to all of us, the classic mutual fund and its more modern cousin, the exchange-traded fund, or ETF. At their core, both of these are built on the exact same principle. Think of them as professionally managed baskets of investments. So instead of buying one single stock, you're buying hundreds, maybe even thousands, all at once. This built-in diversification is an incredibly powerful way to lower your risk. But the key difference, and it's an important one, is how they trade. ETFs trade just like stocks. Their price moves up and down all day long. Mutual funds, on the other hand, are simpler. They're priced just once at the very end of the day. This difference just gives you, the investor, a lot of flexibility depending on your strategy. And this, right here, this is the most radical part. This low-cost philosophy completely democratized investing. It blew the doors wide open. Especially with ETFs, you didn't need thousands of dollars to get started anymore. You could literally buy a piece of the entire market for the price of a cup of coffee. But Bogle's vision didn't just stop at creating low-cost products. Over time, it grew to include low-cost advice, because he recognized that a good plan is about way more than just the investments you happen to hold. This is really the modern version of those founding principles. Think about it. A service like Vanguard Personal Advisor blends the efficiency of technology with the actual wisdom of a human expert. It's for those times when life gets complicated, and you need a real person to help you figure out complex financial decisions. Vanguard even has a way to quantify the value of good advice. They call it Advisor's Alpha. It breaks down exactly how an advisor can add real, measurable benefit. But look at that last point, behavioral coaching. Honestly, this is often the most valuable part, having someone there to stop you from making emotional and really costly mistakes when the market is going crazy. So, after almost 50 years, what's been the ultimate impact of this simple, low-cost revolution? What did Bogle's folly actually accomplish in the end?
Well, it's called the Vanguard effect. Bogle's relentless, almost obsessive focus on low costs created huge competitive pressure. As you can see, Vanguard's average fee is just a fraction of the industry average. This forced the entire investment world to lower their fees, saving investors, well, literally trillions of dollars over the decades.
So what does this all mean for you? Ultimately, Bogle's revolution shifted the power from Wall Street to the individual investor. It proved you don't need to find a needle in a haystack to succeed. You just need to buy the whole haystack at the lowest possible cost, and then let the market do the heavy lifting for you. And that leaves us with a final question to think about. In a world that's obsessed with complexity, is it possible that a 50-year-old idea, one based on radical simplicity, is still the smartest strategy of all? Thanks for joining this explainer.